Hey, welcome to my channel, Cooking with Manual Focus, and today we're going to be making an absolutely delicious and easy potato salad. Now it's cookout season, and you already know without that potato salad, you don't have a cookout, right? But it got to be done right because we don't want to have nobody disown you or have a brawl at your cookout. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make an absolutely delicious potato salad. So let's focus on this recipe and let me get you in the game.
Now I got about 3 pounds of potatoes that I'm working with. Now one of the keys to a good potato salad is just making sure that your potatoes are cut like size. If you got different size potatoes, then you're gonna have some that's gonna turn out too mushy, and then you'll probably have some that's too firm. So if you cut those about the same size, they'll get done at the same rate, and then you'll be in the game. So we're gonna use chicken broth for these potatoes, but this will flavor your potatoes. Can go with chicken bouillon, better than bouillon. You go with stuff like that, or you can just go with regular water and salt. And next I got me a stalk of celery. Now I don't want like a lot of celery in this potato salad, and that'll be good enough for the celery. As you can see here, this is how I'm gonna chop my onions too. Probably get a little bit fine and chop on the onions, but this would do for the celery. Like I said, I don't want too much celery in it. You know, potatoes gonna be the starter dish anyway. So now we got both celery and onion chopped to where we like it. As you can see, I got 2 pots of boiling water. Reason for that is because we're gonna boil some eggs and then we're gonna boil those potatoes. Now 12 minutes for both should be about right, but you want, again, to make sure that your potatoes are, you know, tender, but not like mashed potatoes, right? Hey, after your 12 minutes is up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these eggs out. We're gonna put them in an ice bath so we can work with them, get them cooled down, and we'll turn our attention to these potatoes. Now you wanna have these fork tender. Like I said, you don't wanna go too much more than a fork tender potato, because then you'll have mashed potatoes like this right here. We can see it, not where it's breaking apart, but you know, it's soft enough. You see that right there? That's what you want. That's fork tender. That's a perfect potato for potato salad. Hey, we got to make this dressing. You already know what I'm about to use. I'm about to use that Duke's mayo. Now let me know in the comments what you like to use. You like to use that Hellman's Best Foods if you're on the West Coast. But what we're going to do is we're going to freestyle a little bit. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Go in with a little bit of mayo first. And we can add more ingredients if we need to, or add more if we need to. I'm gonna go in with a dollop of sour cream. Now I'm going in with some relish. Now salad cubes will probably be better. They're a little bit thicker, but relish will work just fine. Now most potato salads, people put Dijon mustard, but I'm gonna tell you, hey, here's one of my secret weapons right here. It's that diced jalapenos. That's not gonna be spicy, but it's gonna give you a little kick, just like that Dijon mustard would do. Now I'm gonna go in with a couple tablespoons of yellow mustard. I'm gonna go in with a dash of apple cider vinegar. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of dill. I'm gonna hit it with some Cajun seasoning, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, and some crushed black pepper. Now, any all-purpose seasoning will do, or you already know, man, you can put that Lawry's up in there. Hey, that'll be absolutely delicious too, fam. And we'll get everything mixed in. And then at this point, once you get your dressing mixed in, and you can taste it and then see if you need to add any more of your ingredients before you put those potatoes in there. Now that flavor is on point. Now lastly, what I'm gonna add is a little bit of sugar. And I like to taste it before I add the sugar, just like I can see, you know, the base ingredients, how we're coming along. But after you add that sugar, it's just going to give it a little bit of that sweetness that you're used to in a potato salad. Now with these eggs, we just want to, you know what I'm saying, chop these eggs up. Now all we got to do, fam, add these potatoes. And at this point, you just want to fold your ingredients. You don't want to mash it. Be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my eggs in there. Get it all mixed in. It's looking good. It's smelling good. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a serving dish just for the thumbnail. Like I said, For a cookout, hey, you might as well just put that thing in an aluminum foil pan. And you know what I'm saying, if somebody get active out there in that cookout, you don't want to have no broke dish, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of that smoked paprika on top. A little color, give it a little bit more flavor. You don't want to overdo it. So lastly, to give it a color contrast, I'm gonna go on top with a little bit of that dill weed.
Now you already know what I gotta do. Hey, I gotta give this potato salad a taste test, and hey, there it is right there. Cheers, fam. Hey, that's delicious right there. Nice potatoes cooked right, and that dressing for that potato salad, hey, it's on point.
All right, fam, we're gonna make this delicious banana pudding. Now we going in with 4 cups of milk, and we're gonna bring this up to a soft simmer. Now while we wait for this to come up to temp, we're gonna add about a little bit under a cup of sugar, and then we got 3 egg yolks that we'll work into this mixture. Next, fam, we're gonna add our cornstarch to the party. We get all that cornstarch out of there. So for every cup of milk, you want to have a tablespoon of cornstarch. Now, like I said, if you want your custard pudding mixture to be a little bit richer in color, then add, another egg yolk or 2, and then it's gonna darken this, this pudding mixture up. Now I'm working over like a medium heat, and I want this to come up to like a slow simmer, right? So I don't want to like have it come up to like a violent boil, but just a slow simmer would do. And you want to keep this mixture moving, because as that cornstarch starts to thicken up on you, you don't want it to be in the bottom of the pan and then start burning. So you want everything to start getting thick consistently throughout the mixture. So just keep it moving, and then it'll start thickening up for you. So now we're in the perfect place. You're starting to see the steam come off this mixture. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm gonna add a half a stick of butter. So what you want to do when you start getting to that thickening stage, go ahead and kill your heat, because you don't want it, like I said, you don't want it to come to a boil, but you want this to come up gently. So as it cools back down, because we got to put this in the fridge and let this sit for about 4 hours, you'll be in the game. Like I said, we already killed the heat. Now we're gonna cover it, let it cool for like 20 minutes, and then once it becomes cool enough to put in the fridge, we'll let that sit for 4 hours. All right, fam, here is the pudding right here out of the refrigerator, set up after 4 hours. Nice consistency. Now we're in the game. Now here's the beauty of the bottom layer of the banana pudding. So you can use those ugly ones that may have been broken and nobody would even tell, right? So you just go and use those first. And fam, what I'm doing is I'm just picking out, the perfect looking ones. So we'll end this, recipe with the best looking, vanilla wafers out the pack. Better yet, go with a couple boxes, because, when you open up that box, you're going to have a couple, vanilla wafers that are broken. But again, go through, save the best for last, and then you'll be in the game. Now, fam, what we want to do with this banana pudding right here, since we got that first layer ready to go. Now, like I said, that first layer, you can use broken cookies, because that's going to be the bottom layer, and it really don't matter, right? Nobody's going to see that. Now, all we got to do, get you a ladle or a big spoon, and we're going to spoon some of this pudding over the top, and we're just going to create some layers, fam. And then you get your nice little layer on the bottom, spread everything out, make sure you got like an even layer. And then after that, fam, it's all about creating another flavor layer. All right, now here's the next layer. We got our Cool Whip here, and then we just wanted to get a couple dollops of Cool Whip on top. And then in this step right here, you want to get you like a little spatula, silicone spatula would work probably best. so you can get everything spread. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, like I said again, because we're just layering it. And it may even get mixed in, and you know, fam, that's still perfect too, because it's gonna be absolutely delicious. But get everything layered and smooth out. And I'm gonna be using 2 tubs of the Cool Whip. So on that first layer, don't worry, you know, if you need to go back in, get a couple more scoops, then definitely do so. And that's what I'm about to do right here, so I can get me some coverage. And like I said, fam, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just creating a layer, a flavor layer, and then just make sure that, you know, you flatten that top off before you go and hit it with another layer. Now what I'm gonna do after this is I'm gonna hit it with some bananas. So now we just get our bananas in this banana pudding as another layer, and then we just coin this. And to me, fam, banana pudding ain't banana pudding without bananas. And once you got all your bananas cut, you can use a pared knife, you know, situated however you like it. I used 2 bananas on that layer there, and now we're going back in with another layer. All right, we're almost to that top layer, and we're gonna put those vanilla wafers again, like so. And this is the final layer, fam, and no pudding left behind. So you want to scrape that pan and make sure you get everything out of it. And then you know, if you want to say that, give your kids a little taste of that while you finish making it, and you in the game. That's what I used to love about, you know, cooking in the kitchen, you know, with my mom and with my granddad. You know, you always get that little spatula. What I want to do is I want to end that final layer with that Cool Whip topping, because it's going to give us a nice contrast between the vanilla wafers on top and a couple bananas that we have. It'll give us a nice little presentation. And you don't have to be as tedious as I'm doing right here, but I'm just trying to get a nice little layer that looks phenomenal. So I'm gonna hit the sides a little bit, save a little extra so I can get those sides looking good. So I'm gonna take some of these vanilla crumbs, and I'm just gonna do my thing. Keep the good looking ones for last, because that's gonna be your presentation, you know, vanilla wafers, right? And these, we're gonna spread these out, you know, just a little bit so we can get nice coverage. We're gonna go with the bananas in between the wafers. All right, fam, there you have it. You got your absolutely delicious homemade southern banana pudding. All right, fam, I said I gotta get a big spoonful, right? So we're gonna go right into this banana pudding, and it's gonna get messy, but hey, we ain't worried about that. We just want that delicious banana pudding. Look at that right there. Yes, sir. And cheers. Now that's absolutely delicious, fam.
Hey, what's up, fam? Today, hey, you already seen that thumbnail. This is what we're making today. Some absolutely delicious baked beans. It's cookout season, and you can't have a cookout without baked beans. Check this out. We're going on our smoker today, 250 degrees, while we let these baked beans do its thing. Check this out right here. Here they go. Right before we put it in that smoker, we're gonna let that smoke roll. Hey, it's gonna be a little bit of sweet, some smoky flavors. Yes, sir. Hey, let's get in the game. Now, the ingredients will be in the description box below. Also, check out my website, cookingwithmanualfocus.com, and you can get the printable recipe there. Today, hey, we just going in with bacon. I got 6 strips of bacon. Hey, I cut it up, and we're gonna get this brown. And before we get it all the way where we want it to be, we're gonna multitask, and we're gonna get our onion prep. So while we let that bacon go in the background, we're gonna go ahead and get our onion prep. I'm not gonna use this whole onion. If you like, you can. So I'm gonna use about half of this onion, and it's gonna give it a little additional flavor. These baked beans right here are gonna be smoky. Hey, they're gonna be sweet. We going out to our smoker in a little bit,
and we gonna be enjoying some delicious barbecue baked beans. So I would say probably about 40 to 50% of the way cooked. Go ahead and add in your onion, and then we'll let everything cook up nicely all together. And you see that bacon starting to brown? Yes, sir. And I don't know any cookout or any good cookout without some good quality baked beans. And let me tell you, not all heroes are on the grill making, you know what I'm saying, the meat or whatever, the brisket, the ribs. Hey, some of the heroes, they make the baked beans and the potato salad and all that good stuff. Hey, you get a good baked bean, I'm telling you, it's gonna set that cook-off off right. And this right here, hey, you're gonna be definitely in the game. Now we got a good bit of color on this bacon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep all this bacon grease in here. Hey, this is gonna be a bunch of flavor. Now, optional, if you wanna drain this bacon grease, you can definitely drain it. And then put a little bit of butter into this recipe. And we're gonna kill our heat while we add the rest of these ingredients in. So we're going in with 3 cans of pork and beans, and we'll get everything worked in. And look at that right there. It's already looking delicious. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some brown sugar. That's light brown sugar, about 3/4 of a cup. Then I'm going in with a cup of barbecue sauce. Now for me, I like Sweet Baby Ray's. We're going with a 1/2 cup of ketchup. Then we got a tablespoon of yellow mustard. And then I got a teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna get everything mixed in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this out to our smoker today. 250 degrees, because we want this to be a little bit of sweets, a little bit smoky. Yes, sir, look at that right there. That's what you want in your baked beans. You want a nice rich color. You want a flavorful baked bean. And then we'll let this go. We'll let this get some of that smoke flavor, like I said. And this right here, so simple, so easy. But I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna take your cookout to the next level. All right, so we're halfway through this cook. And let me show you this right here. Hey, you see that right there? Look at that color. Yes, sir. Hey, we'll stir this in. I get that smoke profile in these beans. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase my temperature, and I'm gonna let these simmer up. And then once they come up to a nice little simmer, we'll take them off, let them cool. And then these will be ready to go. But look at this right here. Yes, sir. Hey, let's let this hood back down. You already know, if you looking, you ain't cooking. All right, fam, this is how we looking right here. Now, this is what I love about this smoker right here. Hey, it can work as a grill too. So I got this thing up to about 400 degrees so we can get that simmering, and it's ready to go. So once your beans start simmering, hey, take them out, let them rest, and you in the game. We got to get us a taste test, and look at this right here. Yes, sir. Got a little bit of bacon in there. Brown sugar. You see the color on them? Hey, they gonna be absolutely delicious. Hey, forgot. Cheers, fam. Now that right there, you the MVP cookout season with these right here. Yes, sir. Hey, if you're new to my channel, let me take the time out and say thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you like content like this and you want to get in the game, hey, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like, and share it with your family and friends, and tell them Cooking with Manual Focus got you in the game. Now, for my Focus family that's been rolling me for a while, you already know what your boy the coach is about to do. I'm about to get back in the game, call some plays, and smash into these absolutely delicious baked beans. And we'll see you guys on the next recipe. Hey, win the game.
What's up, fam? You already know what time it is. Today, we gonna make some absolutely delicious collard greens. Now, I got a treat. I love me some smoked turkey with my collard greens. I don't know about you, but me, I love it. Now, I usually go with smoked turkey next, but I got some smoked turkey tails, and let me tell you, they're gonna be absolutely delicious. But let me stop talking because we gotta get these greens on your table for this holiday. So let's go down to this workstation and we're gonna focus on this recipe. And we at the workstation, let me tell you, you gotta go get you some nice, good looking greens. So when you in the grocery store, hey, make sure that you're getting the best bunch of collard greens that you can find, right? Don't get nothing that's all wither. Get something that has some substance to it and you'll be in the game. But let me level you up. If you grow collard greens in the fall, let me tell you, they're absolutely delicious. That's the best time to grow them. They just got like a sweetness to them. I'm gonna tell you, it'll change your life if you grow them and you taste them. Trust me, fam, you'll be in the game. Now let's go back down to this workstation. We're gonna get these cut up and I'm gonna show you what to do to get these cut. We're gonna wash them because you know you gotta wash these things, right? And then we're gonna put them in that pot. We're gonna make them delicious, fam. All right, fam, let me show you something now. You see the stem right here? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the thick part off like that. And then I'm gonna cut the stem part off. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that thin part in the collard greens. Now what this is gonna do and it's gonna provide a nice little texture when you bite into these greens. Now you wanna cook these until they become tender. Now some people, they throw these away and that's perfectly fine. But if you wanna keep them, I'm telling you, this is absolutely delicious if you cook it right. So cook them till they tender along with these greens, these leaves. You'll be in the game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, you know, just a knife and you're gonna run these down like so. And then you'll get the stalk of this collard green. So what you wanna do, so you don't have like this big piece of stalk that you're eating or that stem, and you just cut them in the little sizes like that. Or you can even cut them thinner than that if you like. But I'm gonna tell you, fam, if you put that in your collard greens, you'll be in the game. So I'm gonna set these to the side and then I'm gonna do the rest of these and then we'll cut them and then we'll rinse them. All right, family, hey, let me know in the comments, what's your perfect Thanksgiving plate? Me, hey, some fried turkey or smoked turkey, get a little bit of that honey baked ham. You ain't got that cornbread dressing and you don't have those collard greens and that mac and cheese, you can already cancel Thanksgiving for me. Don't let me forget that canned cranberry sauce. It's just something about it. It's absolutely delicious. I know you can make it fresh and I got a recipe for fresh cranberry sauce that's absolutely delicious, but that canned cranberry sauce, family, is just something about it. I love it. Now, when it comes to the leaf of the green, right, the leafy part of the green, now what you want to do, just take it, get you a couple. You can get out however many that you need to cut through. Make sure you got a sharp knife, whatever your knife will cut through or whatever you're comfortable with. Like I said, Thanksgiving time is all about efficiency, being efficient with your time because you got a lot going on. So we're going to take this, we're going to roll this up. Now, what I want to do is I want to cut these. I'll probably go a ½ inch. You can go, you know, a little bit smaller if you like. You can go a little bit larger if you like. But for me, hey, that's going to be a perfect bite of collard green right there. Take them and it's going to be a nice little roll. And like I said, this will help you make this process a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, and you're just going to make your cooking time for Thanksgiving a little bit more efficient. Now, what I like to do too is come back and sometimes hit it one more time in the middle, and where, you know, you don't have like a huge big roll of greens, you got a nice bite of greens, so you can hit that with that fork and then you'll be in the game. Fam, I don't care what people tell you. If these say they are pre-rinsed in the grocery store, make sure you're rinsing your greens out, because you don't know who's been in the store. You don't know who and did what with these greens. So rinse them off. Now you can use salt. So what I do is I take a couple pinches of salt, and this is going to remove the grit, the dirt. and it's gonna kill the bugs too. You can also use a baking soda and vinegar solution, let it soak, and you want to rinse these until your water becomes clear, and then you want to make sure that these greens don't have any grit. So cold water will do. We're not trying to cook these greens, but we just want to get them, like I said, get them washed, get them rinsed, get all that dirt off of them, get all that grime. And this is why you want to wash these greens so they look clean, you know, on the outside. But again, when you look at that water and you agitate these like you're washing clothes, and you see the dirt come off of it, and you probably can't see it on the camera, but you got little, you know, pieces of dirt, just wash them off. You'll be in the game, fam. So I got me a yellow onion. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this onion and I'm gonna cook this onion right before I put the collard greens in with some garlic. And what it's gonna do is gonna release some flavors. This also gonna help this onion soften up a little bit quicker. Going in this pot. My pot's a little ashy, so don't talk about me. We're going in with a little bit of olive oil, and then we're gonna put in a little bit of butter. Hey, we're gonna let this come up to temp, and then we're gonna throw in that onion. All right, fam, that butter is ready to go. And we're gonna put our onion into this pot. These onions are about where I want them to be. Now I got some cloves of garlic here, and we're gonna release some flavor, get some smells in that atmosphere, and get your fam out of their rooms. And they're gonna ask you what you're cooking. You're gonna say, hey, some absolutely delicious collard greens. So I'm gonna go in with some onion powder at this time. I'm not gonna put all of it in there, just about a half a teaspoon or so. I'm going in with some garlic powder, and I'm gonna work with that just for about a minute or so. Hey, I did say I had some turkey tails. I got me some smoked turkey tails for this recipe. That's what we're gonna be working with today. If you can find them, hey, I'm gonna tell you, these are where they at. If you can't, smoked turkey necks will be absolutely delicious too, fam. Now I got my heaping pile of greens. Now it's time to add these to my pot. Now again, if you never cooked collard greens, don't worry about the collard greens overtaking your pot at this time, because they're gonna wither down. And when they wither down, you'll see they'll fit in this pot. But don't worry, fam, it's gonna look like it's a lot, but you'll be in the game. Now I got the rest of my turkey tails. I'm gonna stuff those in the middle of this pot, and we'll get those rotated during the cook. Just like so. We're going in with the rest of our garlic powder, our onion powder, black pepper. Now also remember, fam, you can always add pepper and salt at the end, so you don't want to overdo it. But I'm gonna tell you, about a teaspoon of pepper in this stage right here will be perfectly fine. Now you're probably asking about the salt. Now I'm hold off on the salt because those smoked turkey tails are salted enough, and then this chicken broth is gonna have some more sodium, right? So I'm gonna use 64 ounces of chicken broth. And if you want to kick to these greens, you can either add some of my baptizing Cajun seasoning, or you can go with some red pepper flakes if you don't have the seasoning. All right, fam, when you see that bag right there, hey, you know you in the game. Go to my website, cookingwithmanualfocus.com, and you'll get 25% off your purchase when you put the promo code I'm in the game. Now we're gonna get in the game. We're gonna put a little bit of that baptizing Cajun seasoning in these collard greens, and then we're gonna finish that chicken broth. Got me another can of that. And right before I add all of it, I'm gonna put a little bit of sugar in here. It's gonna be a tablespoon of sugar. You don't have to go
with a bunch, just a little bit would do, a little bit to carry along the way. Now we don't want to have overly sweet greens, we want to have absolutely delicious greens. Let's finish putting the rest of this chicken broth in, and it's going to dissolve that sugar. Hey, we're going to bring this up to a light boil, and then once it comes to a boil, we're going to let these simmer, and then we're going to let these roll out until they become nice and tender. Hey fam, we've been going for a little minute. Now, I'm gonna tell you how I know when my collard greens are ready to go. You remember those stems I told you I put them in with my collard greens? Hey, when they nice and tender and I can put my fork in it, yes sir, my collard greens are ready to go. Because I want to get these turkey tails out, and I'm gonna shred these turkey tails, and then I'm gonna put these back in the pot, get them mixed in. Now the inside of this pot right here is nothing but flavor. And on a cold, cool autumn day, fall day, hey, you take this to the side right there, that pot liquor, I'm telling you, got a lot of nutrients in it, vitamin K. Just try it. Take you some cornbread, man, that's all you need, some pot liquor and some cornbread, fam. Now with the turkey tails, they got a little bit more fat than the turkey necks, but again, that's a little bit of flavor. All right, we got all that turkey tail shredded. Like I said, I'm gonna hit it with some of that baptizing Cajun seasoning. This turkey tail meat, toss in that seasoning like so, and then we're gonna put this back into that pot. We in the game, get you some cornbread. I'm gonna tell you what'll go good with this right here, some jalapeno cornbread. That's that pot liquor that I was talking about. Hey, you get you a nice little cup of that on a cool fall day and take a little sip like this. Yes, sir. We're gonna get us a fork full of these collard greens. Look at that right there. Cheers, fam. Now that right there, those some absolutely delicious collard greens, fam. Yes, sir. You win the game. All right, fam, let me show you my lineup of cheeses that I'm gonna use. I'm keeping it simple, but I'm going in with this right here. That smoked Gouda, and then we're gonna hit it with that sharp cheddar cheese right there. So 2 cheeses, simple. Hey, we're going with about a pound of each, and we're gonna be in the game, fam. So we're gonna get this grated. I'm not gonna bore you with that, but I'll see you in a little bit, and then we're gonna get to assembling this mac and cheese. All right, fam, we got that water boiling. As you can see, I'm going in with a pound of Elbow Mac. Now, here's the key. You wanna put a little bit of oil, and then you wanna salt this water. You can also put chicken broth in your water, right? But that oil is gonna help keep those Elbow macaroni from sticking. So we're gonna let this cook al dente by 8 minutes, and we're gonna be in the game, fam. All right, fam, we're gonna go ahead and make this cheese sauce. So what we wanna do is we wanna get us 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we're gonna hit it with 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And we're gonna let that butter and that flour cook so we can get that flour taste out of it. And we don't want to like brown this, you know, and burn the butter or whatnot. We just, like I said, a couple minutes, cook that flour taste out of it, and then we'll start adding in our wet ingredients. All right, fam, after we cook that flour taste out, we're gonna add about a cup of heavy whipping cream. And then we're gonna add a cup of buttermilk. Now I love buttermilk with mac and cheese. And then we're gonna give this a stir. And we're gonna let this come back up to, and while we let this come back up to temp, we can go ahead and add in some of our cheese. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of that smoked Gouda in there. Then I'm gonna add some of that sharp cheddar in also. And then we'll let this melt down. But this right here is gonna be extra creamy because we added, you know, 2 cups of milk. So you can go with like whole milk if you like, but I just like the profile that, you know, that heavy whipping cream and that buttermilk is gonna give this mac and cheese that flavor profile. So we're gonna add about, you know, 75% of the smoked Gouda and the sharp cheddar. And then once that's ready to go, fam, I'm gonna come back to you and we're gonna be in the game. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, you know, a teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder. Then I got a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning and then a tablespoon of pepper. Now I like to season, you know, my sauce, and you can, you know, season it after, but you know, I like to do it so I can get like all my flavors incorporated throughout that mac and cheese, and I'm not like skimping any flavor in any bite. So I want every bite that you take to be nice and flavorful. When you're working with the sauce and you think it's a little bit too thick, you can always go back and add a little bit more milk, because what I'm gonna tell you is you kind of want it to be more on the runnier side when you put it in that smoker, because this sauce is gonna thicken up, right? So you see here, you don't want a glob, but you want something that's gonna be nice and creamy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add just a tad more buttermilk, which is gonna thin it out just a little bit more, and this is gonna make it, you know what I'm saying, extra creamy, because once it hits that heat, fam, it's gonna, again, it's gonna get thick on you. And if you want a creamy mac and cheese, you want to keep this kind of, like I said, on the thinner side. So this is about good to go for me. As you can see, that's about the consistency that I want. And like I said, I'm not really worried about the cheese melting all the way, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and introduce this to the Elbow Mac. So I'm making 2 batches. I'm making one for somebody, and then one, you know, I'm gonna do it up and put that, you know, that bacon on it, because it can't be the best mac and cheese without that bacon. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this in our pans and we're gonna be ready to go. All right, fam, here we go. You can see running about 300, right? Got that smoke rolling. I'm gonna set that bad boy right there. And I got me one that I'm not gonna put that bacon on top. So fam, we're gonna be in the game. We're gonna let it roll for about 10 minutes or so with that smoke on it. We're gonna add some extra cheese, and then fam, a little bit of bacon. We're gonna be in the game. So fam, it's been about 10 minutes. As you can see, that mac and cheese is looking pretty good. So what we wanna do is add the rest of that cheese on there as promised. And I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna crumble my bacon, and then I'm gonna go and bring and put the bacon on top of that. But fam, there we go right there. We're in the game. Fam, for the last 10 minutes, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this bacon on top. We're gonna let it ride out after that. All right, fam, it's time to dig into this smoked mac and cheese. Hey, take a look at this right here. Look at that right there. Nice. It's creamy. It's smoky. Fam, you are in the game. Let me get you another little scoop of that. And we're gonna put this on our plate. Like I said, fam, it is nice. It is cheesy. It is smoky. And it's gonna be absolutely delicious. Hey, cheers, fam. Now that right there, that is absolutely delicious, fam. Hey, if you're new to my channel, let me take the time out and say thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you like content like this and you want to get in the game, hey, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like
and share it with your family and friends and tell them Cooking with Manual Focus got you in the game. Now, for my Focus fam that's been rolling me for a while, you already know what your boy the coach is about to do. I'm about to get back in the game, call some plays, and we'll see you guys on the next recipe. Hey, win the game.